Today's episode of Still Untitled is sponsored by Autodesk Graphic. Graphic is a full-featured app for making icons, illustrations, UI and UX, or anything else you need out of a professional vector design app. Open, edit, and save raster or vector images, layered Photoshop or Illustrator files, CSS, SVG, PDF, and just about any other file format you can think of. You can open an AI file and export a clean CSS code or a web-ready SVG with just a few clicks. It's available on your Mac, phone, and iPad, so you can design without compromise on the go. It's the vector design app you've been waiting for your iPad Pro and Apple Pencil. Visit graphic.com to learn more about Autodesk Graphic or find it in the App Store.
I'm still kind of freaking out about the footage of your vocal cords that you showed me, Will.
You want to see it again?
No.
Norm, did you see it?
I abstain.
I think it's good for you.
It is really, it's like something right out of Alien. It's terrifying.
It
So
is.
Will had a camera stuck down his throat, and they filmed him humming and breathing.
They
and
use
it
the same
was-
camera for the other way?
No. That one bends more. This one,
okay.
This one is literally. So this one's
When
a
you get a certain
rod.
age, they shove cameras down both ends.
Norm.
No, usually it's just a finger or maybe two.
This is what it was like to hang out with Norm when he was 10.
Welcome to
Go ahead.
Still Untitled, the Adam Savage
I'm
Project.
an adult.
I'm Will. He's an adult.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Norm. It's nice to be back.
It is really nice to be back.
It is good to be back. Yeah, I mean those other people were okay, I guess, but
So I just got back. Look, this is somewhat time shifted, as many of our podcasts tend to be.
We'll call this a part 2.
This is a part 2.
Yeah.
I just got back from the Emmys, or as we affectionately call it, the Schmemmys, which is officially known as the Creative Arts Emmys, which this year has had its 88 categories split up between 2 days, on
Thank
Saturday
goodness.
and Sunday at the Microsoft, formerly the Nokia Theater in Los Angeles.
Nokia.
At the Lowe's.
Uh,
The big one.
yeah,
The one where the Oscars are.
It's the one where you had a show.
it's the one where, I've played that hall a couple
No, the
times.
Oscars are at Kodak Theater. That's
you're right,
over
you're
on
right. Yeah,
Highland,
yeah, okay.
which is a tiny, tiny little theater. It's where Oculus Connect was last year.
Yes.
But it was the Schmemmys were really fun. Once again, we were almost the last category, and once again, for the 8th time in a row, we lost.
Is that a record? Like, are you like the
no,
Susan?
no,
Okay.
no. Antiques Roadshow. So my good friend Sam Farrell, who's one of the EPs on Antiques Roadshow, he and I have a yearly commiseration drink at the Governor's Ball. And Sam, Antiques Roadshow itself has been nominated 14 times, and Sam has personally lost 10 times.
That means he's won 4 times, though.
No.
oh,
He's
only
only
been
been,
a part.
the EP for.
Oh.
So look, this is
awkward.
our category, which is structured reality, which is in and of itself a hilarious philosophical concept. Was Antiques Roadshow, Mythbusters, Diners, Drives, and Guy Fieri, Undercover Boss, Celebrity Lip Sync Battle, and Shark Tank.
What?
I'm sorry, Adam. I was rooting for Celebrity Lip
All
Sync
Yeah,
Battle.
Celebrity Lip Sync
those,
Battle's
all
pretty
of
good.
those were. So this is. I've been telling people for weeks that's who we were going to lose to.
Right.
I was like, we're going to lose to Celebrity Lip Sync Battle, and everyone says the same thing. Oh, but I love that show.
It's pretty good.
So, I wouldn't have minded losing to Celebrity Lip Sync Battle, but whatever network it is that shows Shark Tank, they made a
ABC.
big campaign, and Shark Tank won.
So as somebody who has gone and done, let's say, something like 60 pitches in the last year, mostly unsuccessfully, Shark Tank is farcical. Like, it is as far from reality of
in
that
terms
process
of how you're pitching something.
as anything I've ever seen.
Look, I've met the hosts of Shark Tank. They're nice people. They shoot a whole season in 17 days. More power to
Jesus.
them. But losing to them 4 times in a row, especially for our final season of Mythbusters, we were sad. My crew was sad. I would have. That's mostly what I wanted to see. Like most of the producers, right? So they nominate all the producers for the episode who were credited, and the ones who were in LA with me, most of them started out as excuse me. Most of them started out as runners and interns on our show, so it was a real farm team. So I got to watch these guys grow from newbies into one of the best production teams in television, and that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see those guys get rewarded. And, wouldn't have minded a gold statue. So
Anyway,
the fact is 8 times we've gotten really good at it. We went to the Governor's Ball and had a fantastic time.
that's good.
Yeah.
I mean,
party.
it's the last
It
dance,
is,
right?
Yeah, it's completely. Until the next show,
Yeah.
hopefully. But we saw there were some very funny bits. There was one the weirdest loss of the evening. The most bizarre was carpool karaoke beating Beyonce's Lemonade.
A special
What?
variety variety special. Yeah.
This is literally like the Simpsons joke,
Right.
where the Simpsons won Best New Rap Artist for their vocal, the behind the, like that's insane.
Yeah, it's totally insane.
Carpool karaoke
is
pretty
very fun.
good.
Yeah, totally enjoyable. But Lemonade is a cultural phenomenon.
Why is it
And
in the,
lost
why-
production design.
Yeah.
Why are they in the same category? What?
This is the
Okay.
Television Academy. Yeah.
Awards are dumb.
119
Look,
categories. They
we're-
couldn't add any more.
Our structured reality program included, as far as I can tell, among the 6 entrants, 6 genres of television.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got a thing where there's like 19 different makeup and I've bellyached about this every year. There's umpteen makeup categories, which there should be because there's lots of different kinds of
Yeah.
makeup, and 2 reality program categories.
and that's only a
3. There's
recent-
competition reality, structured and unstructured reality.
And that was only a recent change.
Yes, the structured unstructured was only implemented last year.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
So, anyway, that's enough of my belly aching. I don't really care because I got to walk the red carpet again. I got to see friends like Aisha Tyler and Janet Varney and Kristen Shaw on the carpet. Everyone looked amazing.
That's awesome.
My crew.
What were you wearing, Adam?
I was wearing a beautiful suit by Brooklyn Tailors, which
Okay.
is a sort of a semi-tux. It was in a wonderful, very slightly blue with tuxedo lapels, but slightly more casual than a tux. My Mrs. Don't Try This picked it out for me last year, and it's my new favorite suit.
I saw a picture from her Instagram or Facebook or something.
Nice
you guys
hat,
look
too.
lovely.
Thank you.
You were wearing your boater?
That's a genuine Borsalino that I picked up in Santa Monica a couple of weeks ago. Did you just roll your eyes
I
at
did a
me?
little bit with the Borsalino, I'll be
For those
honest.
of you listening, yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, Will was not prepared for this level of detail. in his
I was
joke
kind
question.
of joking with my joke question, and I'm like, this is impressive. You were prepared.
And proud.
Yeah, the blue suit was awesome. It looked really good. I don't remember what we were going to talk about next. So
We were going to go
Nolan's
backwards in
Arctic.
time.
I want to
Yeah.
hear about.
So
I
this
wanna
is kind
hear
of
how
part
many
2 of our catch-up.
how many polar bears did you wrestle?
A 0.
Why not?
I wrestled.
So
one
last
of them.
last podcast we talked about my road trip.
Yes.
While I was on that road trip, Norm and Joey went to the Arctic.
Yeah, the
So-
high Arctic. This has been a trip that we'd known about for about 6 months, and we only announced it about a couple weeks before the actual trip itself. There's a company called Quark Expeditions, and they're effectively like a high-end cruise company, but instead of these 500-person, 1,000-person massive cruise ships, they take working ships and convert them with a little nicer amenities. And so in this case, it was a retired Russian icebreaker.
Wow.
The Kapitan Klebnikov. And
Say that again?
Kapitan Klebnikov.
Wow.
Yeah, it
You
took me a
had
while.
time to get that
Oh,
right.
I did. I had 2 weeks. In day 1, if you watch the videos, I'm like, Kapitan Klebnikov. And we were invited by Colonel Chris Hadfield and his team. So Chris, he's a friend of the site. We've done projects with him. He and his son, Evan, do a show every year called Generator. And
I'm
Adam,
going to go do it
you're-
up in Toronto in
yeah,
November.
November 12th.
Awesome.
If you're in
Yes.
Toronto, you can see Adam. And we're actually thinking about going as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It's like their stage show. Like we do a stage show. Last year, from all reports, it was amazing. A lot of world-changing people there. And
When Chris invites you to do something,
yeah,
you want to
If
go
an
do
astronaut calls,
right.
pick up the phone.
Yeah. So Joey and I are not, curing cancer or, changing the world that way. But what he wanted to do for this particular trip, they called it Generator Arctic, is get videographers, photographers, and creative types on the ship to document this trip in their way, in our own way.
People who
it.
are good at telling
nice.
stories.
Exactly.
What a cool.
Yeah, it was a really good
Metric.
concept because what we found out is that most of the people on the ship, they are scientists and they're expedition leaders who are there doing their research. It's a very expensive trip. So most of the people there are the retirees, kind of like a bucket list type trip. Go to the Antarctic, go to Georgia, South Georgia, go to the Arctic. And they have a perspective and many of them are excellent photographers and have seen the world, but they don't have the same audience, and they, it's a very exclusive trip.
They don't have the science-ish background necessarily.
Or just it's going up to the Arctic is a rare thing, right? To experience that. And so because we have our YouTube channel and we have an audience, we want to share what it means, what this beautiful place means to us with the rest of the world. So we filmed a lot, and it was just a great time.
So
18
that's
days.
the informational. Was it altering? Was it mind-blowing?
It was mind-blowing. I'll say, when you go on these trips, you want to see wildlife, and we did see a fair bit of wildlife. We had a very close encounter with a polar bear.
Oh,
which
like
was
a scary close?
No. We were on the ship, and it was, I think they said, the closest a polar bear has gotten to that ship in 10 years, which was less than 50 feet
from
the ship.
Was
it
he curious about
floating
the
on a
ship?
piece of ice, or
Very
was it
curious.
swimming?
It was walking around on a large ice sheet, hunting. We saw it hunt for seals. There's a whole non-disturbance policy, so everyone would be very
don't
quiet.
throw a drone in the air and buzz him.
Oh, definitely don't throw drones. We had drones. Don't throw food at it, obviously, but in that moment, we just wanted to see it kill a seal.
You wanted to watch the cruelty of nature play itself out for your enjoyment.
Like I used to be kind of okay. I used to think seals were really cute and had problems with orcas or whatever would eat polar bears, whatever would eat seals. And then I watched March of the Penguins and realized that the seals just camped the penguin hole in the ice, and the penguins are way cuter than the seals. So
and then the polar
seals
bears
get what they deserve.
Just camp the seal holes in the
Right.
ice.
Well,
and that's
Circle of life.
And if you read about the Shackleton expedition, you learn about the leopard seal, which is about one of the scariest things you could imagine. It's a seal with a bunch of razor-sharp teeth, and they're super aggressive.
great.
Oh, yeah.
Terrific.
Yeah. And
Apex
apparently
predators.
delicious.
Well, I mean, all that fat's
tell you,
got to go somewhere.
seal blubber was not delicious.
Oh, really?
We had
you eat
some
seal?
You eat a little bit of seal blubber, a little bit of narwhal skin. Narwhals are a
you ate-
real
hold
thing
on,
that
wait.
people hunt.
You ate a unicorn?
It's a tusk.
Well, I mean, but
the unicorn of the sea had a little bit.
yeah, okay.
We went
it's
to
actually a modified tooth.
Actually,
we went to towns where the people there, it was narwhal hunting season.
Oh,
so
wow.
they were out on their boats and they with spears going to hunt narwhal.
No way.
And
time to narwhale on those narwhals.
there was one guy who came back with a
I'm
giant
gonna go.
bag.
I'm leaving.
No,
Sorry,
no,
that was
no,
terrible.
no, no.
I was
And
hanging
he's
out
like,
with comedians all weekend.
Here's raw narwhal fin. Would you like a piece?
Again,
And
yes, please.
A knife, cut it off, take a bite. It's very tough.
What did it taste like?
It's rubbery. The skin was very
Chicken?
rubbery.
Rubbery.
Yeah.
Was
Wasn't
the
that
flavor
great.
is
No flavor.
No flavor. Just
Yeah.
something
It's
like
very cold.
It's like Arctic chewing gum.
It's like cellulite, eating cellulite.
I don't know what eating cellulite is like.
You almost got him. Almost.
But to answer your question, like it was life changing. There are moments when you're sitting there near the end of the trip, at the end of 18 days, when you can immerse in that environment. And we went from Greenland to the Canadian high Arctic, up through Hellgate and up to the Tanqueray Fjord. You're sitting there, and one of the last places we stopped at was a grave site for this expedition, Franklin's expedition, and there were these grave markers with a plaque. You got to read the plaque, and completely empty. And you're looking around all around you, and it's just sunset, completely empty except for the people with you on these boats, and it's just very, very peaceful. Top of the world, one of the most peaceful times. And it was near the end of the trip. Everyone just sitting down, just quiet, and having a moment of silence in the high Arctic is life changing.
You know, I just read this long, wonderful blog post by a guy who was hired to fly. He was hired to fly a private plane from Sweden to San Diego,
That's a long way.
and you do this hop. You go Sweden to Iceland, Iceland to Greenland, Greenland to Canada, and then down. And there's this. As he was doing the map, you notice that he gets to Hudson Bay and goes south instead of east or south, and it's because Hudson Bay up there. I didn't realize how big things are up there. The going right across Hudson Bay would be a wider stretch than either of the ocean crossings from Sweden.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's that big, and it's that and they would have challenges with each other as to who can spot a human settlement, and they would go hours and hours and hours and hours in a plane, not seeing any sign of human habitation.
I have to imagine like I've been to Alaska before, but the more settled like Anchorage and parts south,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Even there, even on the drive from Anchorage to Seward, which is one of the more trafficked roads in Alaska, you felt alone in a way that I've never felt, even in like the most desolate parts of the continental U.S.
Well, one of the things they figured out when they first mapped the U.S. with GPS and the full mapping was that there's no spot in the contiguous United States, not including Alaska, where you are more than 25 miles from a road.
I mean, yeah, and 25 miles it's a long day, but you can walk 25 miles in a day.
Yeah,
Right.
But you're talking about places where you can walk for weeks.
You could absolutely walk for weeks and not see another person. Also,
Was the ship going all night long every time you were going to get to the next place?
yeah, at night, and we were very lucky. It wasn't the sea was very calm for the most of the way.
Did you take Dramamine or anything?
I
as a
didn't need to.
preemptive?
I'm totally good.
Oh,
I think
okay.
virtual reality has really helped.
Yeah,
in that sense.
your motion sickness, I would see.
But it was an icebreaker.
Right.
So coming from California, when the ship would rock and it would feel like an earthquake, and I just got desensitized to running over ice,
Oh,
So
wow.
hold on, so you were smashing through ice,
smashing through ice.
like through sheets or through
yeah,
wow.
not icebergs. You don't crash into icebergs.
No,
Right.
But like big, massive ice sheets where if you went outside and you see a mile to the left, mile to forward, mile to the right, starboard and port side, it was all ice.
and then behind you.
And behind you is the crack.
No
where
way.
Wow.
Or
That's
you're just
amazing.
going through ice.
Oh,
'cause-
I assumed it was all like you were through the melty parts.
No, I mean
Thanks,
part of it
global
because
warming.
it was you use a lot of fuel. It's a diesel. Most of the trip, the money was for the fuel. It's a weight of the ship, and we learn about how icebreakers work. But it's just the weight of the ship and the shape of the front of the ship.
Of the prow.
Yeah, is just crushing the ice.
Wow.
Going above the ice and then pushing down on it and then cracking it. And sometimes
So
you'd
the
have to,
ship's moving like this.
but it's in one fluid motion. So it's just
Wow.
like nonstop weight of the ship.
Fascinating.
24,000 horsepower pushing down the ice.
24,000 horsepower.
And then
lot
sometimes
of
you'd
still
have
trying to
horses.
work a way. They're still trying to figure out a way to get that engine into the hood of a GT.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
and then sometimes you'd back
Holy
up
cow.
and then hit it
Then
again.
Take another run at it.
Yeah. And
Wow.
it'd feel awesome.
amazing.
The interesting pop culture feeling, and I think this is again a perspective that only because they brought nerds like us there, is the whole time it was Star Trek in my head.
Oh, you're the Voyages.
I was just imagining, like I experienced the trip through the lens of a science fiction and Star Trek fan.
yeah.
And so it was just like I imagined myself living on a starship.
so
the
you had
whole
away
time.
missions. You had
Yeah, day trips out, going on these
Did
Zodiac
you get to go on the
boats.
bridge?
Yeah, well, open bridge.
Open
Completely
bridge.
open bridge.
Wow. How were your accommodations? Did you have a little tiny room?
It was a small room. Joey and I shared a room. They're all doubles or triples, but
Oh, you shared a room.
we shared a room. It was
Does one
fine.
of
We
you
had our own
snore?
bathroom. It was.
Did you get lonely at
no.
night, Norm?
We all stayed up late. Open bar.
Oh, there's a bar on the Russian
There's
ship.
a bar.
Is this an actual Russian
On a
ship?
Russian ship, beer is considered non-alcoholic. Right?
Well,
Oh, right.
I mean, I think the thing that surprised us most was because it was a working ship that was converted to be kind of like a cruise. The amenities were fantastic.
Oh, nice.
So it it wasn't just like eating sludge every day. There was a fancy meals every day.
So it's a decommissioned military icebreaker, not an active military icebreaker.
Not an active government icebreaker.
Okay.
Yeah, at
Got
least
it.
from the Russian government and the Russian crew, Russian captain.
Mm-hmm.
But the rooms were converted. We had like
Midnight
fancy
buffet?
meals, not buffets, but like we had like we had fish or lamb and duck, and there was
Amazing.
an Austrian pastry chef who made desserts for lunch and dinner every day.
Holy
Sounds like you
cow.
really suffered.
Yeah, we didn't suffer at all.
Try my pastries.
So, do you have a like shower and toilet and stuff in your cabin, or did you have to go out?
No,
to
we
the-
had shower and bathroom.
Norman,
It was
Joey were sponge bathing.
Yeah.
no sponging. There was no sponging.
Did
but
they,
the best part,
Spooning to stay warm.
so people usually go on these trips are rich people, old people,
Yeah.
not very young people. I think the youngest person, one person in their 30s, I think, aside from our group, two people in their 30s. They usually do not interact a lot with the crew, like with the help, the service. So the people working the ship, we made friends with them, and we got to hang out with the Russians.
That's where all
late
the
at
cool.
night.
That's where you
Yeah.
learn all the cool stuff.
All the cool stuff is, and go actually in the bowels of the ship, hang out in engineering rooms.
Dude, that's
like,
That's really cool.
And they were so happy. They threw a disco party for us in the gym the last night because they said they would never have this type of experience again. You know, we traded them whiskey because they weren't allowed to drink, for access, and it was
Nice.
That was the best part.
That's fabulous.
That's really cool.
That's really fabulous.
So you're going to talk about this more.
Yeah.
And you're gonna-
this is only a test.
There's going to
We
be
filmed
a bunch of videos.
of stuff. Yeah, we're doing these short daily videos, daily updates to watch our slow descent into madness. It's on the site starting today. And then we've shot a bunch of stuff with Chris and about the whole trip.
Did they when you signed on for this trip? Did they have the contingency for if you get locked in the ice, or is that just a thing that couldn't have happened at this time of year with this kind of ship?
Yeah, no, this ship would not get trapped. I mean, you could break a propeller, but then you have three massive for three propellers. If you even broke one blade, they have replacement blades on board, and
So they'd have to get down and scuba in and put a new blade on.
they used to do that. They used to have a dedicated 5-person scuba team in
Jesus.
like old like
Like
spacesuits
full dry
basically.
suits, yeah.
And a lift, the elevator basically they sink down. But now that's too expensive, so you can get by with 2 propellers and go to port and then spend 2 weeks there replacing a blade.
Wow.
But we got to see the massive, 4-ton blades.
Sitting in storage.
Sitting in
ship.
storage.
Bronze or brass or something?
I think steel.
brass.
I think they're
Steel.
bronze.
I'm not sure. It was rugged.
I
Yeah.
ended up with a
Wow.
giant chunk of a boat propeller shaft made out of bronze from one of the MythBusters shoots. We blew it up.
And then being with Chris Hatfield,
Yeah.
that was amazing. Like so they would go on we would go on excursions, hikes, and they would be split into like 3 groups: the tough hiking group, the medium Thule hiking group, and the small the easier hanging out by the beach.
Chris always the tough hiking.
Of course, he was up every morning, super early. The tough hiking group, and like everyone wanted. And then at some point, we're like, let's just go in the tough hiking group with him. And
How was it?
It was nice to walk up, hike in the snow, and literally walk in the footsteps of an astronaut.
Did you? I assume you documented like the gear that you guys brought to both
Brought some
document and to
drones,
survive and all that kind of stuff. I want to hear. I literally want to hear about this entire thing. It sounds like the
I
coolest
can't
thing
wait.
ever.
That's so exciting, man.
It was there's parts of it that are so cold, extremely cold. My wife did not allow me to do this, but people did the polar plunge. Joey did the polar plunge, which
saw a
is to go
picture.
swimming
Oh wow!
in
No
negative 2
way.
degree water.
2 degree.
Yeah,
Negative.
-2.
-2.
Two,
Oh, right,
negative
'cause
2
it's-
Celsius or
'cause-
Fahrenheit?
I
It must
think
be Celsius.
Yeah, Celsius. Right
Yeah,
below
Negative 2
Yeah,
Fahrenheit.
no,
would
it's
freeze
-2 because it's
0 is
salt
salt water.
salt
freezes.
water.
Yeah.
Exactly. So a bunch of people the last couple days took off their clothes and jumped into
Did Joey jump in naked?
your swim trunks.
Okay.
But when you immediately
I mean,
The world's not ready.
I would not put that past a Famelli. If everybody's doing it,
it looked
he's
painful.
game.
Bodies go numb in seconds.
Oh, yeah.
And-
Were you like? Was he standing on ice when he did that?
No. It was from the beach. You run into the water.
Oh, and then just run back out. Okay.
Amazing. Terrifying. Is there a giant hot tub there to spray you down with, or they just pour hot tea on you?
You get hot coffee. We had the hot packs. There's a sauna
Jesus.
on the ship,
Of course.
but only the Russians really use
Right.
the sauna.
Well, I mean, the Russian steam baths with the birch branches and all that—that's a thing.
Unless someone comes to kill you when you're naked in the
Well,
sauna, and then you've got to.
You have to spin the towel up and wet
I
it.
watched Eastern Promises over the.
Oh,
last
you did?
couple-
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Knife fights in the sauna.
Dude, the naked knife fight's one of the most intense things I've ever seen.
You know what they say about knife fights? You fight with a knife, you're going to get cut.
Yes, clearly.
Yeah.
Norm,
then,
it sounds totally amazing. I'm really jealous.
Just skimming the surface. I think it's still like one of those trips. It takes a while to digest it all.
Yeah, I imagine.
And there's a reacclimation period coming back. No internet the entire time.
You're
18
uploading
days.
stuff once a day or something by satellite?
I paid $30 for a satellite webmail account where you get 200K kilobytes
Wow.
allocated a day. So I would only use that in case of emergencies. And I sent 2 daily emails back home. And at the end of the day, and I had to make explicit instructions: do not reply to this email, right? Because if you reply, you include the email.
Oh, that
and
counts.
it takes up. And so
Yeah.
write a new email and keep it text. And at the end of the day, I would look and say, okay, I have 112K left. I'm gonna go into Photoshop, take one of the photos, compress it down to 80K, and send one photo home every day.
Wow.
What I have to imagine for somebody like you who is you are traditionally the most connected person
Yep.
I know.
Yeah, it took a time. It took
Like
a while.
you were a little broken.
Yeah, it was. But at some point, I think like 12 days in,
12 days.
I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess there's no point. Like, there's a local intranet where like I get my hit. Like, it's like being on an airplane where you have no internet,
the
but you
eBay?
have the fake the local
Right.
website. Just
Right.
clicking refresh, getting
AOL
the daily
groups.
updates. Yeah.
Did you feel like did it spawn some inner creativity that you didn't anticipate or didn't know you had?
It was-
Did you do writing or
Yeah,
take more photos?
Yeah,
Or?
oh, definitely. It was also really humbling to be with a really amazing group of artists. So musicians and amazing photographers and videographers, some YouTubers who just do incredible work, and to watch them work was really, really inspiring. It was really
nice.
like a kick in the pants, like get stuff done. Late at night, one of the guys there, a musician named Danny Michelle, a friend of Chris's, they would bring out their guitars just at like 11
that's
p.m.
awesome.
and a bottle of whiskey and play guitar in the
I
in
love
the
what a
lounge.
dedicated musician Chris really is. That's awesome.
Yeah, and sing songs while the sun was still setting at 1 a.m. and the ice is rolling by. Like, those are the kind of nice moments that.
That's awesome.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
18 days.
18 days. Yeah. Of course, like the moment you get back to like the last day, Resolute, there was you could loosely call it a hotel, but they had Wi-Fi, and then people were saying, "Oh, I'm not going to sign on. I'm waiting till I get back to Canada. Wait back to get to Ottawa." And the moment we got there and saw the Wi-Fi, everyone, all 100 people from that ship, heads on their iPads and their Wi-Fi, and I looked at my messages and 3,000 emails. Just
Oh my gosh.
That's not good. That's not what you want.
I met I believe the northernmost tested fan
Really?
at Eureka Station.
If you're
in-
more
in
north than
Greenland.
Eureka Station
Eureka-
in Greenland.
That's,
Weather station.
I want to tell you that traveling around the country now, most of the time what people come up and say is, I love the tested videos,
man.
man.
Yeah.
It's just everywhere. It's so satisfying. I love hearing that.
I stopped in a gas station in Endurance, California, I think, just north of Weed.
Yeah.
Somebody there was like, "Hey, are you from Tested?" I met oh god, I can't remember his name. I met a guy at the 12th and Hawthorne Cart Pods in Portland who came out from behind the kitchen in one of the cart pods and was like, "Hey, I absolutely love what you guys do. Please tell Adam and Norm that you guys are awesome."
Oh, that's awesome.
It was
Yeah.
like everywhere you go now.
And now
it's
the
amazing.
northernmost is
Northernmost.
Eureka Station.
Station.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're
And-
further north, let us know.
Yeah, we want to hear about it. But don't send a picture larger than 80K if you will.
If you're bandwidth constrained. Yeah.
So I mean, I kind of feel like that's a good place to wrap it up this week.
Absolutely. Welcome back, Norm.
Welcome
thank
back,
you.
Norm. Glad you
Yeah.
made it back with all your
Welcome back, everyone.
digits.
Yeah.
A bunch of great trips.
What's going on? Oh, this is next week for Tested, so you probably don't
God,
know.
I don't know.
It's too soon to ask.
It's like I came back like, what?
Um,
Reacclimation period.
yeah. Well,
All
we'll
right.
see you guys next week.
Thanks,
Thanks for
guys.
watching. Bye.
Bye. Thanks again to Autodesk Graphic for sponsoring today's episode. Graphic is a full-featured app for making icons, illustrations, UI and UX, or anything else you'd need out of a professional vector design app. It's available for your Mac, phone, and iPad, so you can design without compromise on the go. It's the vector design app you've been waiting for your iPad Pro and Apple Pencil. Visit graphic.com to learn more about Autodesk Graphic, or just find it in the App Store. We'll see you next week.